How to optimize a standard shopping campaign. Now, more particularly, we'll be looking at the product level. I'll be running through a step-by-step process as to how you can optimize, troubleshoot, and improve return on ad spend out of your standard shopping campaigns on a week-to-week or a month-to-month basis. We'll be looking at 4 different components. We'll start off by looking at item pricing. We'll then look at return on ad spend, then click-through rates, and then CPCs. We'll be running through different thresholds and filters that you should be applying to analyze the data. We'll then be looking at the next steps that you need to be taking if these different metrics aren't hitting your core KPIs. So I'm going to minimize myself here so you can see my full screen, and we'll dive straight into it. So the first thing that we're going to be looking at here is item pricing. If you have a store that has, in this case, above 1,000 SKUs, there are likely going to be a lot of products throughout your SKU range that are going to be priced in a way that just won't make sense to acquire customers on. So what we're going to be doing through this full analysis process is using the filters feature to easily filter between the 11 to 12,000 different products that we have across this individual standard shopping campaign to make decisions and optimizations to improve performance. The first thing that we're going to do here is we'll start off by sorting by price. And we're going to do anything that's priced at under $40. As acquiring a customer profitably on an item priced at sub $40 is going to be very, very difficult to do. Now, additionally, we're going to layer in another filter, which is going to be that the product is actually currently running. So if we go less than $40, as well as that it's eligible, we've now summarized down to a list of 217 products. Now, a lot of these products haven't even spent at all. So we're going to go ahead and put another filter in here, which is going to be clicks is greater than 1. We're then going to sort by cost. We now have 7 different products which are priced at less than $40, are generating clicks and are actually spending, and are currently active and running. We can now do a quick analysis based on these products and make some product exclusions. So up the top here, we can see this product spent $30, but it's a $39 product. This is something that we should definitely be looking to exclude unless there are direct upsells on this product and people typically buy 2 or 3. If people don't typically buy 2 or 3 and we've checked the back end of the store and we know this for certain, we'll be looking to exclude this. The same applies for this. We've spent more than the actual price of the product. This is probably a good one to exclude unless we're happy with acquiring customers unprofitably on this product to get their first party data and then try to resell to them or upsell or cross-sell. So there is further understanding that's needed about this brand and whether cross-sells, upsells, LTV is strong. But if it's not, this is another product we'd be looking to exclude. The same thing applies here. Likely it's a $40 product, probably only has about a $15 gross margin on it. So we're already negative on contribution margin, assuming a CAC of $18. So this is another product that we'd be looking to exclude. This is a high performing product that's cheap, so we'd be looking to keep running this. And then the rest down the bottom here, you would need to make your own assumptions. I'd assume that we'd want to exclude this $9 product down the bottom as well. So that's looking at item pricing. We've looked at prices that are below $40 that are generating spend that we potentially need to be looking to exclude. And you can adjust these parameters accordingly. We might now want to look at sub 60. This is obviously going to include a few more products where we can see they really haven't spent anything. So there's no real further optimizations available here. The next thing to look at is return on ad spend. So I'm going to get rid of these 2 filters, and we're now going to look at conversion value over cost, and we're going to go less than 4.5 as that's our target KPI. Now immediately that's just going to pull in a bunch of products that have a 0 ROAS. So we need to put a further assumption in here, which is that cost is more than $10. Then we likely need a further assumption in here, which is that return on ad spend is greater than 0.5. And so here we actually have no products, which is fantastic to see. We might want to extend our timeline a little bit to get even more data in here. And that still seems to be the case. We can change the numbers around a little bit more. Now we have 2 products. Okay, so we have this product and this product have both spent under $10 and have had a conversion which has been attributed to a sub 1 conversion, and this means that the user path weighed across multiple different clicks, and so this individual product didn't get attribution for the entire conversion, which has resulted in a lower return on ad spend. This isn't too bad. That looks completely fine, looks good, so I'm going to leave that as is. So in terms of return on ad spend, there's currently no products that are running at a subpar return on ad spend that have gotten a conversion. Now, what about if they haven't received a conversion? Now we start to get quite a few different products populating. Now, I don't really want to look at anything that's spent under $5. That's pretty irrelevant. So let's improve this up to greater than $6. And so now we have 23 products that are worth looking at. The top one here is an $85 product that has spent $30 with average CPCs of $1.28. We might want to let this spend for a few more days, potentially another week, before we go and look to turn that one off. The data set's really too small with only 24 clicks. The next one here, we already decided to turn this product off, so we'll skip past this one. The next product here, we've only had 52 clicks, so once again, it's probably a little bit too early to turn this one off, but this is something that we want to be keeping an eye on. This product very likely only has a margin of about $30 to $35, and so we're really approaching that quite soon. Now, why hasn't this product converted yet? We'd want to be looking at whether there's different variants that are out of stock. For context, this will be blurred out in the video, but this is a shoe that's size 10.5. And so people might be clicking on this shoe, but not be size 10.5, and they might be out of stock in all of the different variants. And so we want to be making sure that we're in stock of those variants, or we should just turn this product off and stop driving traffic to a landing page that has a bunch of different SKUs that aren't available for the majority of users who would be clicking here. The same applies here. So this product would probably have about a $40 to $50 gross margin. So we're approaching that as well. And once again, this is another shoe that's size 7.5. So we'd want to check the landing page here and see, are there different sizes available that are out of stock? And is that why it's not converting? The next one down here is a $700 product. So we really wouldn't expect this to convert until we've spent at least $100. Continuing to move through. We talked about this earlier. We might want to remove that. This looks fine. It hasn't spent enough. This is another shoe, so we'd want to be troubleshooting and looking at that. This is another shoe. We'd want to be troubleshooting and looking at that. And the rest look all okay. So the next thing to look at is click-through rates. So the filters that we want to be applying here is CTR less than 0.5, really, let's go 0.6%. And then let's make sure that we've got at least one click so that we're not including products that haven't generated a click yet. And let's sort by highest spend. So the first thing that we'll see is this product at the top here has a click-through rate of 0.33%. Now, when a product has a low click-through rate, it means one of two things. Either number one, the product price and image isn't compelling amongst the market, and so we need to fix the price or we need to fix the product image. Or number two, the GMC attributes, being the title, description, category, is incorrect or not obvious enough that Google's placing the product on the right key terms. And so we're not getting clicks because Google's going and placing this product on completely irrelevant key terms that don't make sense. And so we need to figure out which of those two are the actual situation. So if we go and Google for this product, we'll find that on average, the pricing sits at $189.95. However, we're priced at $199.99. And so that's why we have a low CTR. All of our competitors are priced $15 lower than we are. And so we need to now come to the client, or if this is our own brand, we need to assess, can we afford to discount this by $15? And there's a lot of different ways that we can approach that. It's not as simple as let's just shave $15 off the price. We could shave $15 off the price, but then move that $15 to the shipping cost. And that would allow us to be effective on the shopping platform, look like we're comparable, but that shipping's tacked on at checkout, which is likely what the competitors are doing to be able to enable that kind of pricing. Or we put some kind of upsells into cart. So for this product, there might be a really good upsell that goes with it, which we want to be pushing heavily in cart and heavily in post ADMs to recoup that $15 loss. So there's a lot of different ways that we can be approaching fixing this click-through rate and getting traffic through here and starting to get conversions. The next one. So this has a click-through rate of 0.54%, which means either we're placing on the wrong keywords or it's not priced correctly. Now, when we have a quick look, the reason why the click-through rate is terrible is because one of their competitors is on a discount at the moment. So they're discounting by about $70. So they would be getting all the clicks, which would be causing this decrease in CTR. So we'd want to come to the client with this knowledge, say, hey, your direct competitor is currently discounting on this. Do we want to match them and discount as well? Or do we want to stay with the current pricing and just know that we really won't be getting any traffic out of shopping while they're running a discount like that? And then we want to continue this process as we go down. So once again, this product is definitely mispriced with the 0.1%, 18% click-through rate. So this is something we want to be looking at, communicating with the client on. And on and on and on. It goes for all of these 24 different products. So I would recommend doing an export here. You can do that by downloading a CSV in the top right corner. And then going and making, and I would typically download to a Google Sheet because I prefer personally using Google Sheets, and it'll automatically generate a Google Sheet for you. And you can then go through and do an analysis and put notes on each individual product, and then send that Google Sheet straight through to the client and say, hey, here's all the products that we currently have really low CTRs on. Here's the reasons why. Here's our recommended next steps. Do you want us to follow through and apply those next steps with pricing changes or whatever it might be? The reason why CTRs are important is because if they're low, we're just not going to be getting traffic through the relevant keywords and the relevant products. And number two, it decreases our quality score. So we're actually going to have worse average CPCs because our click-through rates are poor, which leads me nicely into the last bit of analysis that you can do, which is looking at average CPCs. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that filter. We're going to keep clicks at above 1, and we're going to go into average CPC and set it to above $1.50. We now have one product that's bidding above $1.50, and this is a $25 priced product. So this makes no sense. And the reason why it makes no sense is in a really good scenario, we might have an $18 margin on this product. In an absolute best case scenario, that would be a really strong gross margin to have. In which case, we have $18 that we can afford to acquire a customer and break even. Ideally, we want to make money on this product, so we probably want to be acquiring customers for an $8 to $9 CPA. In which case, at these current average CPCs, we would have to convert 25% of traffic. That is impossible. There's no scenario where that's actually going to occur. And so we need to either drop these average CPCs significantly down to sub 50 cents, ideally sub 30 cents, or we just need to stop spending on this product. This product seems to be hyper competitive. It's not going to work. We need to exclude it. Now, tying back into the analysis that we just did on click-through rates, the click-through rates is really the reason why the average CPCs would be so high here. Google's given us a low quality score for the product, which has caused average CPCs to inflate. So if we fix the pricing here, that will fix the click-through rates, which will actually fix the average CPCs. So it's important to have an understanding of how all of these components work together to be able to troubleshoot and improve this individual number. So we can improve this by fixing the pricing and fixing the offering. That's going to help the CTRs and drop the average CPCs down. Alternatively, we can just turn the product off. And that's a conversation to have with the brand or the client. Is this a product we really want to be spending on? What's the LTV and cross-sell rate on people that purchase this product? Maybe people that purchase lifting straps come back and they spend again and again and again. And so this is something that we actually do want to acquire clients through and customers through. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe this is a terrible product. No one ever comes back and buys again. So we really shouldn't be spending on new customer acquisition here. And so that's the 4 ways that you can be analyzing at the product level, particularly if you have 1,000 plus SKUs within your store. Number 1 is looking at item pricing. We don't want to be spending on products that aren't priced high enough that make sense that we can actually be profitable on. And so we set up our filters accordingly so that we could look at that. Number 2 is we looked at return on ad spend. We put some filters in place to quickly consolidate our 11,000 SKUs and get an understanding for what products were not at a profitable ROAS, but were spending. Number 3, we looked at click-through rates. We did some filters there and we got an understanding for which products were at suboptimal CTRs and why that might be the case and what the next steps are. And then lastly, we looked at CPCs. So we did a filter based on high CPCs. We analyzed the product, whether we should be spending that much per click. It made sense not to. And so then the next steps that come from that.